This is a Headgum podcast.
I think we can sit either there or there, and I'll leave it to my guests to sit wherever they want. That corner of the couch or that chair.
That corner of the couch. Yeah, she just had me here for a picture.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So sit anywhere there.
Okay.
How you doing?
Good. It's good to see you.
You too.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. I'm not even going to move forward until you take your seat. That's how this works. I'll get you. You're set up. You got water. You got coffee.
I got water. Got coffee.
All right, man. Let me throw this stuff over here. All right. Beautiful, beautiful day out there today.
It's nice.
It's very nice. It's one of those, not that I don't always feel this way, but it's one of those like, oh man, New York is just the best. Yeah. I love this place. And it's because of the prior deluge, it's actually kind of clean for a minute.
Yeah, I know. But don't worry, we're getting a washout tomorrow. So.
Are we really? Is it going to rain tomorrow?
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah, it just.
Can you not go more than?
It was 2 days, and then fuck you. 60 degrees.
Yesterday and today were fantastic.
But yesterday was unreal.
You're welcome. Oh wait, you're Jewish.
Yeah.
Oh, so you control the weather as well.
I do.
Personally, or do you just know the people who do control the weather?
I know them, and since I got the COVID shots, I'm in complete control.
So you're in control.
I'm in complete control as much as I can be in part of it.
Oh, because I was so shocked. I mean, I've been, I just turned 60, and I was not aware until, it was like 4 or 5 years ago that Jews controlled the weather. And I didn't know that. I learned it from, I believe, a state senator in Tennessee or something, and I believe, but so the Jews control the weather. And I asked my mom, I asked all my relatives, like, what the fuck? How come nobody told me this? And they had no idea either. And then I did a little research. And then you would think, I'm sure I'm telling you stuff you already know, I assume, but you would think it was like this cabal or kind of organized thing. It's a guy. It's a guy in I want to say Destin, Texas or something like Destin, Texas. Destin.
I think.
It's a guy. One Jewish guy controls the weather. And so the state senator from Tennessee who alerted me and the rest of America, the world, to this was right. Everybody was kind of jumping on him like, what? This is crazy, anti-Semitic conspiracy, QAnon stuff. And he was right. Yeah.
Well, they always are, especially from Tennessee.
Yeah. They're the smartest. That's their motto on the license plate, the smartest state.
Well, and sometimes, and then little stickers that say, we're smarter than you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's implied when you say the smartest.
Yes.
So we're smarter than anybody who's not.
Yeah, no, they've given me some great material.
Yeah. Do you do well there in Tennessee?
I'll find out. I'm back there on Friday. So we'll
great.
See
where
how it goes. Chattanooga.
Oh, I had a lot of fun there on the last tour.
It's pretty. It's a pretty city.
Yeah, it was it Chattanooga or Knoxville? Wait, no, it was Chattanooga. Nice. Where's the college or the university? Is?
I think it's in Knoxville, but don't hold me to it.
I went to Chattanooga a bunch when I was a kid because it was not a far drive, and I had a good friend of mine, his family moved to Chattanooga when I was young, so I'd go up there and visit because it's like not a long drive from Atlanta. And I think it might have been Knoxville that I had the really fun show.
Yeah.
And there were a bunch of, and by a bunch I meant more than one, swingers at the show. Like couples that swing, like that old, that 60s sounding thing. And
how did you know?
They made it clear. And listen, this is for real. I did not know this until the show in Knoxville, but if there's an upside down pineapple, not I don't think a real physical pineapple, but a picture or an illustration where you have that's signage that says we're swingers. Did you know that?
No clue.
Yeah. That's Emma, did you know that?
I didn't.
Okay.
But my sister has catered a swingers party before.
Really?
Yeah.
Was there any request for upside down pineapple cake?
I'd have to ask. I'll get back to you.
I didn't know that. I don't remember seeing any upside down, nor have I ever seen that
I've never
as far as I
seen
know.
an upside down pineapple.
But that's what somebody told me.
Wow.
Affiliated with the scene.
Yeah. No, but Tennessee's been good, because, I mean, a lot of the times it's people showing up who are like, I've got to go see somebody who I'm going to be able, who kind of thinks.
Oh,
like,
fuck yeah. People, I assume this happens to you too, but people will often ask me, especially after shows, if I'm somewhere a little bit more urban or whatever, they're like, man, do you change your act when you're in the South?
Yeah.
Or I'm like, no, I never change it for anybody.
Yeah.
Well, man, how does that stuff go in the South? And it's like, great. For the same reason, you go to a small town, and people who just for 90 minutes want to feel like, oh, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
And they're with other like-minded people too.
Who they don't know exist until they get in that room.
You got some dates to plug?
Do I have dates to plug? Let's see. When's this come out?
Early 2026.
Well,
yeah.
Then I'm going to be.
We're going to go and post and clean it all up.
Okay, I'm going to be.
We'll de-age you, and we'll.
No, I have dates to plug. I've got. This week it's not going to happen.
Nope.
Yeah, next week it's not going to happen.
Probably not.
So the only real dates I've got is for those of you I'm going to be in Delaware and DC and
Nice.
And Delaware, DC, and Richmond.
Okay.
The first week in May, and then after that I'm in Europe. I've got like five shows in Europe, and then I'm in the middle of retiring.
You're in the middle of retiring?
I'm retiring from touring.
Are you really?
Well,
it's hard. It's
I was
crazy.
doing 100
shows
a year,
Yeah.
And
It's tough,
and generally I had, I'd get something else and then I could, or I would write a book and da-da-da-da. But mostly I was still doing 100 and 120. When it started, I was doing like 150 to 200. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And it's just, I want to do other stuff.
Sure. Like live, and not live out of a suitcase and, where every DoubleTree looks the same. And you're like, where am I? I can't. Have you ever gone to the wrong room at the hotel because it was the room you stayed in the night before?
Yeah. But not as bad. I'm pretty good with that.
I have. What's your method to remember your room number?
No method.
No? Oh,
No.
I have to. I make it a calendar date, like, June 26th is 626, room 626 or whatever.
No, I go 66, 66, 66, 66, 66. I won't leave until I
it's
generally
so
know.
hard for me. And then I'll tear off that little thing and I'll put it in my pocket because, I drink a lot too. So by the end of the night, and I have gone, but when I was completely sober, I've gone to the wrong door with the key. I'm like, what? It's not working. God damn it. Oh no, this was Indianapolis last night. Oh, I'm in Denver.
The other is
I'm in Denver now.
this I do. Rather, I can remember the room. This I do is I'll have the key that I had from the night before, and so I pick up that key.
Yeah.
And walk out, and then come back, and and then put it and go. Oh, you fucking idiot!
Yeah.
Get
rid of your key.
I'm not at the Residence Inn tonight.
No.
Which to me was one of when
You're
I
at
was
the La Quinta.
What's
the difference?
When I was touring initially clubs, and they came up, I'll never forget at the Residence Inn. They started building those, and to me,
when they first came up, they were great.
Wasn't that like?
Oh yeah.
It was like the Ritz.
Yeah, it was so nice. It's still nice. I mean, when I'm out, just a little. It's like, I can actually go out and do a little shopping and get a salad and put it in the fridge and get a bottle of wine for later and all that kind of stuff. I prefer that than the tiny shoebox room, those are great.
Those are
and
nice.
Little space. And
that was like I thought, wow, things are really looking up. This will be a career.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you've been doing it since when?
Well, I mean, it started at the West Bank. I mean, I started really after the West Bank. 1988 is when I really started, turning toward it. And
that was, and a lot of people don't know this. I don't know if anybody knows this, but you were a very early advocate for me and what I was doing. I had the sketch group in Boston.
Yeah, Cross Comedy.
Yep, Cross Comedy. And you brought us to the West Bank a couple times.
Yeah.
And I would say you were the first person who were you friends with Crimmins?
No, I mean, I
so how did you know? How did you know of us?
I saw you.
Oh, okay.
I saw
you were up at Catch in Boston.
Yeah, in Catch, because Catch really was where I was. Just a great club. One of the 5 greatest clubs ever.
Very important in the history of comedy.
It had a huge effect. It was like kind of for me grad school in terms because I really, was transitioning to being a full-time comic, and I'd been writing plays and doing theater. Mm-hmm. And so Catch was the place when I first started working.
Catch a Rising Star.
Yeah. And so that was the first place up there where I went, wow. The comics I saw there, you guys, and when I saw you guys, I came up and went, fuck, this is great. I want you, well, you guys, I've got this place in New York.
You were great. I mean, you were really, very important to us and to me, and just as part of that, what would become known as alternative comedy and whatever anybody thinks of when they think of that, when that wasn't a thing yet, but was starting to burble up under the, because Boston had a lot of amazing, great comics, but they were a type of comic that it was the prototype, the archetype of that, 70s, 80s comic. And Boston was also very kind of male and very a little aggro and a little, a gentle misogyny and and just the slightest pinch of homophobic racism. And so Catch a Rising Star in Cambridge was a place that let me and you and John Benjamin and Louis C.K. and Sam Cedar and Janine Garofalo and Laura Keitlinger and all those folks that and Mark Maron, that group. It was a safe space.
It was a safe space. It was and also he developed this audience.
Yeah.
Robin, right? Was it
Robin Horton? Yeah, was the name.
He developed this audience that kind of got it, so they were coming in. I mean, it was the first place for me where I saw a line of people outside. I said, "Well,
well, in that same vein of what we were talking about earlier in the South, people going, oh, that was if you wanted to go see stand up, but you didn't want to go to Nick's, you didn't want to go to the Comedy Cellar, you didn't want to go to Sam's, you didn't want to go to the aforementioned type of comedy. Again, they're good comics, but it's a pretty specific type of thing, and you wanted something different. You didn't care if there was a lesbian on stage, whatever, and then you'd go to Catch, and then there'd be more experimental stuff, and it was an important place in my life, an important time, place in comedy history, and certainly you were a part of that. So thank you. On behalf of the United States of America, I hope you'll accept this. Well, it's called the Mini Kennedy Center Honor. It's made of chocolate, and
it was fun. I mean, to be honest, what was fun about having a room, which is what when I first came to New York, I said, I could do this, this, and this, or because I wasn't really trying to break into clubs, and I said, but I could get a room and bring in whoever I wanted.
Yeah,
and that was huge. And I was working with two other guys who were like, "Yo, you found these people? Great." Mm-hmm. One was very funny, Rusty McGee, and he was more musical, and Rand was more theater oriented, and I was kind of knew both worlds. And also it was you guys were writing sketches and stuff. I mean, it was like, and we had one or two groups down there that were really good, and I was just I was like, here's the future of sketch comedy. And,
I remember the State came to see us there one time.
Yeah,
the some of the gang from the State.
Yeah, it was really a great room for just trying anything.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, and also, not that we were all country bumpkins, but we were like, wow, we got a place in New York City. There's a theater, and we get people there. It was a kind of a bigger deal than just playing, catch on a Monday or Tuesday.
Well, it was also, it was the thing that impressed me too when I'm there. We were right on 42nd Street.
Yeah.
We were 2 blocks from, we were 2 blocks from Times Square, 2 blocks from Broadway.
What was the name of the prostitute that you brought back stage that first night? She was trans, and I can't remember, Puerto Rican. Sweet girl.
Yeah, Chappie.
Chappie? Chappie. That's not the name I was expecting. Chappie. You know about Chappie in Boston, right?
No.
Oh, well, that's a whole thing for another podcast.
Is that right?
Yeah, there's a guy named Chappie who you go through him if you want to get, if you want your production, film, TV production to have a smooth filming day. Yeah, you go through Chappie. I believe he's in Charleston or Southie. He's in one of those, but old school Boston stuff.
Yeah. Well, Boston was big for me because the greatest thing was I was doing a play at the Hasty Pudding, which was but it was for the ART, a Chris Durang play. But it was just the greatest gig ever. So I was working 4 shows a week. That's the amount we would do, maybe 5.
That's nothing for theater. Usually it's like
phenomenal.
8, right?
Yeah,
or 9.
It is 8. And, and then I'd finish the show, and the great thing about stand-up is I could go literally a block and a half and go up on stage.
Yeah, that's great.
At Catch. And so it was huge for me, And the guys that I met, like you and the rest of those folks there, all had an effect on me,
Wait, were you always kind of like political out of the gate, or did you have more kind of anecdotal, not, I don't mean this in a pejorative way, but more like pedestrian observation stuff?
No, I would say that I had whatever, initially, I was just grabbing at straws. So I was doing it. I was doing it as a way that I could write and get my writing out there, because I was writing plays and you're sending them off and nothing is happening. But this way, I could write stuff and get up and do it. And then so it all started with, it was all stories, all true stories of my sex life. Which was all very funny. I mean, it was the stuff that people, it's the thing when you're sitting around, I could be funny, right. But I never thought that. They would laugh. I got it. And they all said, you should really do this. And I was, and I had a fascination with the form. I was just fascinated that somebody could get up. And I'd watched all of these comics from the Ed Sullivan Show through Steve Allen, through Johnny Carson. I'm just watching them all going, wow, I'd love to kind of figure this out. But I really wasn't, the idea wasn't I wasn't really thinking I'm going to do this. I just did it for fun. And I could do these things. I mean, then I started eventually just writing stuff and going on. So I'd write, there would be 6 people running for office for the presidency. And I would write, here's his speech, and I'd pick up a piece of paper and read something by Henry Scoop Jackson. Who the hell remembers that? But I'd pick up and I'd do his speech.
I certainly don't.
Nobody does. But I did, and I killed with it.
Who was Henry Scoop Jackson?
Henry Jackson. He was running for office, at one point, and I can't even remember when.
How do you get the nickname Scoop?
I don't even want to think about it.
You think it's dirty?
I think it's odd. I think maybe...
You think it's a sexual act, like a Cleveland steamer type of deal?
Yeah, or maybe his hand, he'd lost a hand and they put an ice cream scoop there, and that was how he won the office.
Oh, he won?
No, he didn't. He won. He was a senator.
Okay, from where?
Sorry, I don't. I'm the fact that I remember.
This is a guy of your era, of your time, that ran?
Yeah.
Boy, I never heard of Henry Scoop Jackson. Sounds like a good Jeopardy.
Yeah, it is, but nobody would know it, and I can't even remember But he ran and then was gone in like a minute. Right. He was one of those guys. It was like, I'm going to give it. Nope, forget it.
He didn't even finish the sentence. Couldn't even get the whole thing out.
But it was easy. But I would kind of pick up, but I did a bit of it. I never thought that would be part of what I was doing. I just, to me, I was trying to find what am I going to get up there and talk about?
And so when did things change? When did it become, this is what I'm going to be doing?
At the West Bank, when I started really, two things that helped there. One was that I was introducing everything. Mm-hmm. So, as a comic, one of the ways you get comfortable on stage is that, if you host.
Yeah, sure.
And because nobody expects much of you. So I was hosting, and I started to develop material while I was hosting because I didn't expect much of anything, just to be able to relax the audience, and I didn't have anything other than, and I had shows that I was really, I liked that were coming up. So it was a pretty easy gig. And then on Saturday night, and you probably did it at some point, we had a free show, and people would basically Saturday at midnight and it was a time when none of my friends, nobody had any money, and so we'd do it for free so they could come down and have a couple of beers and watch, me and their friends, and gave them the opportunity. There, I started just tearing things out of the paper, be it social or political, and just stand on stage, and I would have like a stack of papers, and I'd pick it up and go, "Did you see this?" And then I'd read it and toss it down, and read this and toss it down. And then the ones that stuck, I started developing bits around.
Did you ever do anything from the shoppers, when they have the sales, what do they call that?
No. No. It was all in the first
coupon things?
No, I never did coupons. Because people would
penny
demand
saver?
them.
Any penny saver?
No penny
Anything
saver.
from the paper? No. Religious tracts?
Huh?
Religious tracts? No Jack, what's the guy, Jack Chick?
No, just straight out of, but occasionally it'd be religious because it would be something about some schmuck who had done something.
What about a pamphlet?
No.
A bumper sticker?
Well, no, but the Jews for Jesus thing, I grabbed a couple.
Yeah, whatever happened to those guys?
They're still around.
They should combine with the what are those guys? The Lost Tribe is Israelite. The really
the black.
Yeah, the anti-Semitic racist black Jews who are descended from the Lost Tribe, and it's fake news,
But they're not even around, and they're not around anymore. They used to be in New York.
They used to be, I can't remember exactly what street, but they had a street that they were on with their signage behind them. They would scream and yell, and it was scary, Yeah,
it was
guys.
wild.
Yeah.
And had wild costumes.
Yeah.
Really wild.
Yeah, I was like, are these guys dangerous, or is this part of the Sun Ra Orchestra?
Or will they be doing Joseph and the Amazing?
They were kind of like that. Yeah, they did have very, it did look like it was from a off-Broadway.
Yeah, it really
musical.
did.
If there's one thing almost all dads have in common, it's that they're really hard to shop for. Especially mine, because he's dead to me. It's the same dilemma every year. What do you get the man who already has everything, or says he doesn't need or want anything? Well, Put down the slippers and step away from the ties and get your dad something unexpected. An Aura digital frame. Aura frames are beautiful Wi-Fi connected digital frames that allow you to share and display unlimited photos. It's super easy to upload and share photos via the Aura app. And if you're giving an Aura as a gift, you can even personalize the frame with preloaded photos and memories. Now, right now, this very second, if you can hear this right now, Aura has a great deal for Father's Day. Listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $30 off on their best-selling frame. That's AURA frames.com. This deal ends June 18th, so don't wait! Use code SENSES at checkout to save. Terms and conditions apply. This episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Hey, guess what? It's sexy time. Guys, remember the days when you were always ready to go? Poop. Now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed. Listen up, BlueChew.com. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost, because that's really been the issue. You've got a whole bunch of Cialis and Levitra and Viagra at hand, but you don't want to take it in pill form. Ugh, that's weird. Well, now Blue Chew has figured it out. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. And guess what? Everyone's approved. The best part, it's all done online. So no visit to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations with a female doctor, right, guys? Like, I can't get the old plumbing and work. And no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the US of A and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package that says hard-on pills. Does it work? Don't think you need it? Well, try it free for a month and see. You're gonna love it. You could be missing out on the best sex of your life. Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. Chew it and do it. Let me say that again in a southern accent. Chew it and do it. And even more. Chew it and do it. And we got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code SENSES at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code SENSES, to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the PCast.
And you said then you moved here, or you were out there for a while?
I came to New York via LA. I was in Atlanta, moved to Boston.
Right.
And I went there to go to school and then dropped out pretty much
Where'd
immediately.
you go, Emerson?
Emerson, yeah. And then, just kind of cut my teeth there doing stand-up. I had started it in Atlanta, and I was doing it in Atlanta for, a year and change.
The Punchline?
Do the Punchline in Sandy Springs and the comic strip, which is not there anymore on Peachtree or Roswell Road.
I don't think the Punchline is there.
It moved to either Alpharetta or Marietta. I can't remember, but Punchline's not. The one that I started out in isn't there.
That was another great. That was a fun club.
It was, I got my time there. I mean, I couldn't say the audience was great, but not for me. But also, I wasn't very good. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I was doing all kinds of weird, this amalgamation of like, wait, is he biting Steve Martin and Stephen Wright and Andy Kaufman? What are you trying to do, kid? It was, and it took me a little while, but it was Boston where I really kind of grew into it, found my voice, met all the peers that I still work with and still friendly with, and we all kind of rose together, and then I moved to LA, but it sounds like a joke, and it's sort of jokey, but it's not really a joke. But my whole thing is I moved to LA to make enough money to move away from LA. And I always knew that I wanted to end up in New York. Been coming here since I was a kid, and I just knew I was meant to be here, and then found the opportunity, of which I had several opportunities to leave Los Angeles, but then a job would come and I'd stay, and I had no work lined up, and I was like, if I don't leave now, some other offer is going to come, and then I'm going to stay here. It's going to be another year, and I just got a sublet, and I got a U-Haul. I didn't have a ton of stuff, but I packed up my thing and moved to New York, and that was it. And then I was in the East Village for 10 or 11 years, and then moved to Brooklyn, and I'm happy there. I got a family. It's great, and I'm not moving again.
Yeah. No, that's.
And I love it. I will often think in several different scenarios, whether I'm walking down the street, riding my bike, wherever I am, on the subway, I'm like, man, I'm so lucky I get to live here and live here comfortably,
Yeah.
And I already did the poor thing. I did that for a lot of time, and I'm happy that I am comfortable here. I don't like that my daughter is well off. That bothers me. It's a constant irritation. But yeah, it's great. I love New York. Love where I live. Love being here.
Yeah, I lived in before Brooklyn Heights became Brooklyn Heights. I lived there for a while and loved living there because it was like.
And it's so convenient. I mean, you got the 1-2, the AC, the ferry, both bridges. Because I lived in Dumbo for a little while, and it was like the F train.
Yeah,
I mean, everything is right there.
Everything was there,
and you can bike, walk.
And I lived in the East Village, and it was faster to get. It was faster to get to where I wanted to get in Manhattan from Brooklyn Heights than it was from East 7th Street between First and A.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I lived on 7th between C and D. That was my first apartment. I lived there for a year. 7th, and when it was still kind of, once you get past C, it was getting a little sketchy, it used to be all, anything past A. And then it kind of slowly got, nicer. But between C and D was still pretty sketchy when I was there, 2001.
When I moved in, it was First and A everybody was like, oh, how can you? But first we moved on to St. Mark's and people thought we were crazy. But this is 79.
Right.
And it was like, what do you mean? I mean, first off, it's people are away. You don't know what time it is when you walk out. There's hundreds of people walking on the street.
I love that.
It never stopped.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. It was like, so you never felt, it was like, what am I supposed to be afraid of? You idiots? This is like, it's like, it's more foot traffic than I'd ever seen in the city. And so I was always really comfortable. And then we moved to 7th between First and A, and it was still really comfortable.
Between First and A is not a big deal.
Yeah.
But were you there when the Gap moved in to St. Mark's?
No.
That was a big to-do.
Yeah, I was already gone.
Yeah. That was, what was that, 80, 84, 85? Yeah. That was a big, people were very upset.
But they shop there.
They shop there. They have good blue jeans.
Yeah.
Dungarees, as we call them. So when did the Daily Show, were you at the inception of that, or that came? Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't involved in the inception. It was just that they came to me. It was 96. Mm-hmm. And said,
when did that start? Because Liz Winstead started
it was Liz and Hank Gallo.
Okay.
And Hank was a producer on the show. Liz was the exec. And I was in that. It's all about, as you know, timing. So I'm in that sweet spot of being this comic that everybody kept going, wait, how come you're not doing better? And I go, I don't know.
Oh, the best questions.
Yeah. And so
How come you're not more successful?
Yeah. And so I said, I couldn't find an agent. I couldn't do nothing. I mean, literally. And so, but Liz knew and Hank knew that I had a ton of material.
Sure. That's right up the Daily Show's alley.
Yeah. So they would, and it was all sorts of stuff. I mean, it'd be everything from Valentine's Day to something that had happened in the news. So I had like 10 or 12 pieces and I would go in and they basically came to me and said, you want to do this? I said, sure. Are you kidding me? So it was this real amazing opportunity. Yeah. And I didn't write it. I just improv it. There was no audience initially. So I'm doing it. And then Hank and Liz would come up and go, keep this, get rid of that, do that. Great. I'd keep this, then I had something else, and then that was good. You can back off this and then do that. End with this. Yeah. And so they give me, I'd do it 3 or 4 times and it was done. It was in the can. And it was, and then it just, I was doing it once every 2 weeks. So it was great. Yeah. And it was a real, it was like.
And then it must have snowballed and it was a big deal, Yeah. And then you're headlining theaters and you're touring and you're, doing specials and all that.
Yeah, well, it came from the fact that I was doing that, and then from that kind of established me on that screen, and
it's called the small screen.
Yeah, it established me there, and then it also Comedy Central started. David Tell came around at that point. So we became like the faces of the network for about a year and a half. And that really shot things through the roof.
Right. And they said, they were like, we want a personality like Andy Rooney with IBS. And it was like, you gotta get crankies up there.
Yeah, it was really, and then then we started. Then we got an audience. Then I got writers. Yeah, and it's been great. Yeah, it was especially in terms of touring, and that's how I ended up touring that much because it was like having an advertisement.
With Father's Day right around the corner, what do you give to the man who has everything? Well, that's easy. You give him you give him an experience he'll never forget. You give him Omaha Steaks, because a world-class dad deserves a world-class steak, and a not-so-great dad deserves a not-so-great steak. Now, the Father's Day experts, Rahim and Mohonin at Omaha Steaks, have made it easy to put a smile on the big guy's face this summer with hand-selected packages. So they select them with their hands. A lot of places don't do that. It's a robot or some futuristic bullshit. These guys, Rahim and Haben, use their hands to select the Father's Day Deluxe gift for just $89.99. This package includes a mouth-watering assortment of Dad's grilling favorites like Omaha Steaks Butcher's cut top sirloins, juicy boneless pork chops, deli-style gourmet jumbo franks, and their legendary Omaha Steak burgers. Go to omahasteaks.com and use promo code SENSES at checkout to order the deluxe Father's Day gift. And get 4 additional burgers absolutely free. And you can do with those what you want. Do you want to invite 4 other dads and give them 1 burger each? Do you want to invite 2 additional dads and give them 2 additional burgers? Do you want to invite 1 extra dad and give him 3 burgers? Or 2 and then keep 2 for yourself? Or keep all for yourself? Or eat them in front of people? Just have 4 additional burgers, don't invite anybody, get them on a Zoom thing, and then eat those 4 burgers. That's 24 unforgettable entrees for just $89.99, almost $90. You're going to save a penny, guys, when you use promo code SENSES at checkout. If there's one thing we know, it's that dads want steak. That's all we know. We're not very bright. Don't wait till the last minute. Go to omahasteaks.com and use code SENSES and get the deluxe Father's Day gift today, plus 4 free burgers. Do you remember you might remember the specific date. It was the first thing that I did after 9/11. And it was a show at, I want to say, Evanston or Northwestern. It was you and me.
It was the two of us. I remember as I was coming down to see you, I said, fuck, we did this show somewhere, and I couldn't remember where.
Yeah, but what I remember about it...
And then I thought, of course, my brain goes, we never worked together. Now you're just drifting. I remember doing the show. I don't remember. Was it Northwestern?
I believe it was Northwestern. Yeah. It was so soon after 9/11, but it was... there was a palpable sense of, like, please do comedy. Please, somebody let's get back to stand-up. Let's get back to normalcy or whatever. And I remember that aspect of it. And I also remember that it was a dry town, which was just didn't make any sense. Illogical. It made no sense. It was like... it's like, it just didn't, it still doesn't make sense to me. Like
university town to be dry.
Any town. I don't know, some weird Christian parish thing. I mean, you could, and you're like, what about schnapps? No schnapps? Like, no, nothing. What about a low alcohol beer? No. Light beer? No alcohol.
You got any Aqua Velva?
And you're like, there's nowhere to. And we had to go somewhere. We had to go.
Yeah, we had to go somewhere, and I can't remember where we ended up.
It was like a restaurant in 12 miles away. Like, this is insane. Who wants to live like this?
Is it still dry? It can't still.
I don't know. I'm not going back. I mean, if they allow alcohol, then yes, I'll go back. But I'm not going to. That's crazy. That's such a weird. I don't know what the logic is. I mean, it's got to be based in fucking puritanical, stupid shit.
Yeah, or something. With,
the mayor doesn't like...
They moved away from Chicago, and said, we must live here. It's like...
temperance society.
Yeah, they're it's really... they were Mennonites, I guess. But Mennonites drink.
What? But sure, they do a lot of blow, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, I know so many. My guy is a Mennonite. All right. But what was I going to say?
But I remember after 9/11.
Yeah,
it was really. I was before that show. I was saying, get me the fuck out of New York, because everybody had shut down. I'm not doing comedy. We're not doing comedy. And I'm like, now's the time.
Yeah.
And especially after I did the USO tours, you kind of go, that's when and it was after the fact, and you kind of realize these people are going through hell and back every day. And somebody next to them got blown up and you're coming in to perform. I mean, that's kind of when you need that. That's why they're desperate for it. And I said, and I had a gig in San Francisco, and I said, people thought I was, no, you're going to fly? Yeah. Nothing's going to happen on this. Nothing. That was the first team. That team is gone. Mm-hmm. This is, nobody's going to be on the plane. I couldn't pick a better time to fly. And I got out there, and I was, and I felt like, I said, San Francisco is a place, they were living out there already ahead of the curve in the United States. It was already in the future. It was literally, to me, I'm going someplace where theoretically 9/11 had taken place 10 years before, and this was
What do you mean? I don't.
Where the people were already in the future.
I don't understand what you mean.
They had a huge gay community that with no bullshit.
Oh, I see what you mean. Progressive society. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. To me, that was the future, especially then. It was like, they're not living like us. I mean, we've got kind of a thing going, but they had really kind of established, they got they had Harvey Milk. They had a mayor who was all gay, and I mean, they had all this stuff going. If he was the mayor, right, or the city council?
I think he was a councilman. Yeah.
And I just thought this is a perfect place because they are already are past. Mm-hmm. And I got out there, and they were ready for me to talk about stuff. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, it was kind of remarkable.
Well, I remember Mark Maron. The first thing after 9/11 was Luna Lounge, which was where I was the night before 9/11. It was the opening of the that year's what'd you call it? What was it? Just Luna Lounge, right? Whatever the comedy night was.
Yeah.
And they were off for some of the summer, and then they started. And I hosted that show, and we all, like always, went across street to Max Fish, and we were there till 4 a.m. I hooked up with this chick, dude. Man, it was awesome. And then 9/11 happened, and then the next, I don't know, it would have been a couple weeks later, and I saw Mark Maron at Luna Lounge, and he did it in like a joking way, but he was like, "Hey, can we talk about 9/11 yet?" And I said, "Hey, I have a gig in Evanston at Northwestern, and can I use that? But I want to do it seriously. Can I say that?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." And I remember saying that, being very serious about it at that show, at that gig, and the cathartic release of everybody going, "Yes, please," was something I won't forget, and it was, I'm glad I did that and didn't try to be cute about it, and then got their permission, because you also, I mean, I rarely give a shit about whether people are comfortable or not, but that was a kind of a special, unique thing.
Yeah.
And then just talked about it. It was cool. But that was Mark Maron initially. Wow. I saw him go, but in his Mark Maron-esque way. Yes. I was like, phony. Come on, now's not the time. Yeah.
I mean, I went there and I opened with, in San Francisco, I just had wanted to talk about, Bush, showing up 3 days late to New York. Mm-hmm. That he came 3 days later. And I was like psychotic. I mean, it was when I still hadn't, my chops really didn't, were not really fully developed. So I didn't care. I mean, I just was like, I'm going to yell about this, and this is what I'm going to yell about. And it drove me nuts that it took him you're going to help be there. You show up the day of, you show up the next day. You don't wait 3 days until it's an all clear signal. You fuck. We're sitting, and I just went on and on. And it was incredible because I was just getting it off my, getting all of the angst out of me. But meanwhile, the audience went nuts.
And think of, the very famous kind of symbolic taking the bullhorn, and he's standing on that pile of rubble, right? Going, "The whole world hears you today." And think of the dozens, if not hundreds, of bodies that were underneath him.
Yeah.
Because of our ties to Saudi Arabia and in Israel. Yeah. So it's very symbolic that he was standing atop the...
Yeah, it really is.
Of the collapsed financial center of the Western world. Yeah. Who do you like more, George W. Bush or Donald J. Trump?
Oh, no, not discussion. Yeah. He's Bush.
Yeah.
I can't.
You'd rather have a beer with Bush?
I'd rather do anything. I'd rather wash his back. Be within 10 feet of
that was one of those things that some journalist came up. Phony. Not now. This is serious shit, okay? the thing about who would you rather have a beer with? Some fucking dumbass journalist, and that became folksy, and that's who people want to hang out with. Why would that be a concern of mine for the president of the United States of America? I don't give a shit. You can be, who would you rather have a beer with? It doesn't matter. It's not where my vote goes.
Yeah, it isn't. And I don't care. And I don't really want to spend time with any of them.
No.
At all.
Because it may be catching that kind of corruption.
It was funny because I did a couple of fundraisers way back for a couple of things. And I guess it was for the Democrats and I went, I can't do this. I can't be close to some of these people because I'm going to have to talk about these people. And if I'm friends with these people, I'm not going to be able to have the kind of objectivity necessary to make the joke. Because when you go, well, it was a great meal, and he got me that nice bottle of wine. So
that would not prevent me from making jokes about whoever.
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so many of the Democrats, if not, 99% of them are just so useless and frustrating, and in order to be successful in politics, you have to lie. You have to get a majority of Americans to vote for you, and you have to appeal to all different groups. And so you're going to have to lie to them. Yeah. And I'm not a good liar. I don't like it. And, I wouldn't want to hang out with any of those people.
No, but it was way back. This is like, when I just kind of 97, 96, when I was really kind of, I had a little bit of taking off, and then I went, no, I can't. Yeah. I'm not going to do this.
Because you may be friends with them, and then you become the court jester, right?
Yep.
Yeah. My daughter has a dentist appointment in 7 minutes. All right, thank you, Phony. That's what you were trying to tell me. Okay, so in about 7 minutes, my daughter will be at the dentist. Which is down the street. It's not a big deal. Yeah, it's down the street.
You just dropped her off there and said, sit in this chair and I'll be back.
No. She's downstairs. She has this whole thing about, can me and May, it's her best friend across the street, can we have a lemonade stand? And something I was like, sure, of course. Yeah, that'd be great. So I just put a table out there and got lemons and a pitcher of water and one ice cube, big one. And, and I gave her some change and I don't expect many people to buy it. Because I told her to charge $5.62 for a glass, and there are no glasses, so you take a sip from the jug, you squeeze a little lemon. So it's not going to be successful. I'm doing that on purpose so that she learns. When this is all done, I'll go out and see how they did, assuming they're still there, and then I'll take them to the dentist. Straight shot on the C train. Straight shot. Right there. Get off. Boom. Right there.
Nice.
Yeah. That's how I choose my dentists. I'm not concerned with the certificate on the wall. I'm like, how close to the C train are you?
C train.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I close out every show with a question to my guest. Have you ever seen this or listened to the podcast?
No.
How dare you?
Yeah. Well. Yeah. What do you think? I got time?
No, I don't listen to it. I don't listen to anything. All right.
I watched a touch of Tony. Yeah.
Okay.
That was it. And that was
okay.
all.
So as you know, I
went, oh, great.
Yeah.
That's great. Because I like him a lot.
Oh, he's awesome. He's the best. I also got him to kind of open up a little bit more than he usually does, which was kind of nice.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So I end each episode by asking my guest a question from my daughter. So who just turned 7. So this is a question to Phony. I have had it up to here with you and your timing and your sarcasm. No, I don't need an update from FanDuel Sportsbook. Thank you. Okay, yes. So Lewis Black. It's a question from my 7-year-old daughter. Where do you stand on Israel versus Palestine?
Right in the middle.
Right in the middle?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is that?
It's right in the middle. I stand with the... my take is that has been that you can have... It's that stupid thing we say, you could have two thoughts can exist in real time at the same time. And one is that I've got Hamas that's fighting Netanyahu, and I've got Netanyahu who's fighting Hamas. Mm-hmm. The rest of the Israeli people and the Palestinian people, free of them, is a totally different thing. Mm-hmm. The worry is that that's where it's like what needs to, those are the two that are at fault. That's what this is about.
Oh, absolutely. But
and it drives me nuts.
Yeah. No, I'm not. Netanyahu is awful. It's garbage.
Horrific, and it's been for way too long.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he's back. I mean, don't forget, he was gone for a little bit.
He was gone for a little bit, and a friend of mine who was in the Liberal Party. There were like 3 of them. Her name is Marav, and she was the leader of the Liberal Party, and kind of helped create a coalition before he came in, but that got him out.
Yeah,
at that point when he disappeared, and then because she wouldn't form a coalition with certain people, they now blame her for him being in charge again. And it was like, no, we can't cut a deal with these people.
Yeah,
but it's incredible.
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's awful, and and Putin certainly benefits from all this.
Oh yeah, and it's always it was like when they went nuts in Lebanon. That thing of you become what you hate.
Yeah.
I mean, how is this possible? How are you? How do you not know how to do this at this point in time with, you've got this, and this. You've got all of the technology in the world, plus the technology of our technology. You've got everything that you could possibly have to do this without obliterating,
Yeah.
And then I've had, I don't know if you've had friends, but I have friends who were like, nope, it's both sides. It's like, nope, this is the side I'm on. Didn't you see what happened? Yeah, I saw what happened. It was horrible. Mm-hmm. This is horrible. We can't live like this.
Yeah. No, I know people who are myopic, blinders on, pro-Israel. How dare you say anything negative about Israel or AIPAC or anything? And I just don't operate under that kind of weird emotional
it's
tribal thing. Okay.
Can you ask her when you tell her this, when she listens, to let me know if I gave the correct answer?
She did not ask that question.
Oh, okay.
That was from me.
I thought I thought if you had a kid, the kid would ask a question like that.
Okay. No.
Wow, that was from you.
So here's the real question from my daughter. Why do some things stop bouncing when it's on the carpet?
Wow. She's asking
the right guy.
A schmuck clown?
Why do things stop bouncing when it's on the carpet?
Because there's no give. It's the carpet doesn't, because the carpet doesn't care about bounce. The carpet cares about other things. The carpet is concerned with other things. It's got a different emotional content. It doesn't respond to the ball. The ball is giving it nothing. It's asked the ball for stuff for years, and the ball has never given it anything. The ball goes over to a hardwood floor and goes, I'm very happy here. And then it arrives at the carpet and the carpet goes, fuck you. I'm not going to do it. I've seen you over there with the hardwood floor. I thought it would be a question about Inside Out, but
no. So this goes back to your Israel versus Palestine stand. So the ball the Palestinians, or is the ball Israel? And what is the carpet? The carpet, and where's the UN in all of this?
UN is the area between the carpet and the floor, where nothing, All
right.
That's for the UN.
Now, is the floor trying to take over the carpet, or is the carpet trying to take over the floor and going into its territory? Or what? That'll help solve a lot of this.
Well, I think that the carpet is, the carpet really initially is trying to take over the floor. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, it seems so, right? So the floor was there initially, and then the carpet.
And the carpet came in and said.
In 1948.
Yes.
The carpet was added thanks to the British.
Yeah.
Okay.
The British who also never get the blame that they should get for how this was all went down.
The Brits are mighty culpable.
And I'm one of the, it's one of those things I kind of go, I can't believe I study. I kind of have a sense of it. Could I repeat it now? No. But boy, I had a background in the Balfour Declaration from 1917 on. That's what a good bar mitzvah is about.
Can you tell me, can you just speak for 1 minute and then I'll let you go, but about your bar mitzvah, what that was like?
It was my first joke.
Yeah? What was it?
It was, my first joke came from my bar mitzvah when I was hit the road, and I dropped it in a club at Ferris State University, way up in northern Michigan, which looked like it was Nordic stock. Everybody blonde hair, blue eyes. They're playing Papa Shot. They're doing all this stuff. And I come on stage. And I've been doing this in New York where it works, And
you wrote this when you were 13?
No. It came afterwards.
It was a joke about your bar mitzvah. I see.
It describes I broke into this business when I was very young. I was 13. I was bar mitzvah. It's a stand-up gig we Jews have. It marks the passage of puberty, not its cure. And I made a lot of money that day. And it was a stupid joke, but boy, when I told it...
I would say it's stupid. It's just not that funny.
Well, it was, it was an early joke.
Yeah, sure. That's what most early jokes are.
But I'll have to call you up and see if I got it right. No, I'm going to go back and listen. But it was really... I like the marks the passage of puberty and not its cure.
And not its cure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. That'll give you an idea of where my esoteric... and I didn't go into...
How did the Upper Michigan folks react?
They literally, it said, it was in a room in which it sounded like they were... First off, everybody was drinking out of pitchers.
Excellent.
Exactly. Because I'm looking at it and I'm going, oh, that's... And then I was like, freaked me out a little. I said, if you were sitting in the audience, you'd be drinking out of a pitcher. So give them some credit.
Yeah.
And it sounded like there was just, it was a wall of noise. So I break in with that joke and I literally yell at the top, if you can excuse me, I have something important to tell you. I said, that's a joke that you should have had no idea why I even said it, why it came out of my mouth. I'm sorry I did it. There's no reason you should understand that. I would have to explain a lot to all of you here. I'm not going to do it. And I'm going to promise you this, that you've taught me a great lesson in comedy. That's the last time I'm doing this joke. Yeah. And I never did it again, except, on and off, like here.
Right. Well, Louis Black, thank you for everything you've done for me, and thanks for coming on the show. And
thank you.
Yeah. I hope you enjoyed it.
I did enjoy it.
All right.
And if I can go to the dentist appointment and get a little work done on the back molar, that would be great.
Yeah, you can just take her spot. Yeah, it's fine.
That was a Headgum podcast.